Hey there, the weather is starting to change here in Utah, so you already know it is slow cooker season. Today I'm going to be showing you 6 absolutely delicious, easy slow cooker recipes that you could throw together in no time at all. So I really hope you enjoy it, and let's go get to cooking. To kick us off today, we are making these creamy smothered pork chops. So to this large bowl, I'm adding 1 can of cream of chicken soup. Next, you'll be adding 1/4 cup of heavy cream, 1 cup of regular milk, and then 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. This will be your creamy sauce, so go ahead and whisk this sauce up right now. You do want to make sure you grease your slow cooker with some type of nonstick spray just for easy cleanup in the end. So now to my slow cooker, I'm adding 1/2 of an onion that I diced, along with 2 large russet potatoes that I peeled and I sliced into about 1/2 inch thick pieces. So now I'm going to season them with plenty of salt and pepper. And then after that, go ahead and add in 1/2 of that creamy sauce mixture that we made up. And then on top of that creamy sauce mixture, you will be adding 1/2 cup of Colby Jack shredded cheese. The pork chops that I'm choosing to use today are 3 large bone-in pork chops, or you could use boneless pork chops, whatever you prefer. I made sure to season the pork chops on both sides with plenty of salt and pepper, and then I poured the remainder of the creamy sauce over the top, and then sprinkled an additional 1/2 cup of Colby Jack cheese over that. This cooked on low for about 4 to 6 hours. After it was cooked, it was ready to serve. I served mine with steamed broccoli on the side. Those pork chops were fall apart tender. The potatoes were nice and tender. Everything had a really nice, rich flavor. Now I really need to show you how to make this classic slow cooker chicken noodle soup. So to begin, we're going to start on our vegetables. Just cut them up: 1 white onion, 4 large carrots, and then 3 stalks of celery. I added all of those vegetables into my slow cooker. The next ingredients you'll be adding into your slow cooker is 8 cups of chicken broth. For the seasonings, add in 2 bay leaves, 1 teaspoon of dried thyme, 1 teaspoon of dried rosemary, and then plenty of salt and pepper. Give this a really good stir. The last thing you'll do before it starts to slow cook is add in your 2 large chicken breasts. This cooked on low for about 6 to 8 hours. After that cooking time, remove your chicken breasts and then either shred them on a separate plate, or you could cube the chicken, kind of like whatever you prefer. If you want cube chicken or shredded chicken, go ahead and do it up at this point and then add it back into your slow cooker. The very last thing I did was add in 8 ounces of large egg noodles. I do have my slow cooker on high at this point. After I added them in, I gave this one last good stir, put the lid on top, and I let this cook for about 10 minutes or until my noodles were nice and tender, and then it was ready to serve. This slow cooker chicken noodle soup is such a great recipe to fall back on. It is a really simple chicken noodle soup to make. My family really enjoys it, especially my little daughter Brinley. Now we're making this teriyaki chicken. This one's a really simple recipe. So to get it started, to the bottom of my slow cooker, I'm adding 1 large white onion that I sliced into like rings. Next thing you'll be adding is 3/4 cup of teriyaki sauce. You could use bottled teriyaki sauce or make your own homemade teriyaki sauce. 2 teaspoons of rice vinegar after that, and then 2 teaspoons of minced garlic and ginger. I added 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, and then I gave this a really good stir. The very last thing I added into my slow cooker was 2 large chicken breasts. I made sure to coat the chicken in that sauce, and then I put the lid on top. I cooked this on low for about 5 to 6 hours, or until my chicken was completely cooked. So now that the chicken is completely cooked, I removed it to a separate plate, and now I'm going to shred it up on that separate plate. Once it is through being shredded, I added it back into the sauce in the slow cooker, and I let the chicken continue to cook in the sauce for an additional 20 minutes or so. I served my teriyaki chicken over a bed of white rice with sesame seeds on the top and sliced green onions. This is a really good, simple teriyaki recipe to make. Now we're making a sweet potato and black bean chili. This is for all of my meatless meal friends. To get this one started, I'm cutting up my veggies, 1 onion, 1 bell pepper, and 2 sweet potatoes. After I'm finished with that, I'm going to add those vegetables into my slow cooker. The next ingredients you are going to add to your slow cooker is 2 cans of drained and rinsed black beans, 2 cups of chicken broth, and then for this seasoning mixture I have in this little bowl right here, it's a tablespoon of chili powder, teaspoon of cumin, teaspoon of paprika, just a dash of cayenne pepper, a teaspoon of oregano, and a teaspoon of salt. I gave this a really good stir, put the lid on top, and then I cooked this on low for about 4 to 5 hours. Of course, you could serve your chili with any of your favorite toppings. I chose to keep it pretty simple, just doing shredded cheese, sour cream, and tortilla strips. This is a fantastic meatless meal. Now we're making one of my husband's all-time favorites, these Carne Asada burritos. So to get them started, to the bottom of my slow cooker, I'm adding 1 can of fire-roasted diced tomatoes, followed by 1 small can of diced green chilies, 1 diced up white onion, and then the juice from 1 lime. Stir this all together. The meat that we are using for these carne asadas is a little over a pound of flank steak, so I added that right into my slow cooker on top of the rest of the ingredients that we added in previously. Now you're going to want to season it up, so this seasoning mixture in this little bowl right here is a half a teaspoon of garlic powder, onion powder, chili powder, salt, and pepper with a little dash of cayenne pepper. I put the lid on top and cooked this on low for about 7 hours. At this point, after it's through cooking, just shred it up. I served my carne asada meat in a flour tortilla with pinto beans, fresh cilantro, and sour cream. Like I said previously, my husband could devour these burritos. They are really good. Now we're making a tinfoil type of dinner in the slow cooker. So to this little bowl right here, I'm adding 1 can of cream of mushroom in. After you add the cream of mushroom, go ahead and add in 1/4 cup of barbecue sauce, and then whisk these 2 ingredients together. Over to my greased slow cooker, you're going to add half of the following ingredients, and there are a total of 2 layers, so the second layer will be the rest of the ingredients. So I sliced 4 russet potatoes, 1 onion, and a half a pound of large carrots, and then I trimmed a half a pound of green beans. So after you add all of those vegetables in, you are going to be adding half of your seasoning mixture on top. So half a teaspoon of salt, black pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, and then 1/4 teaspoon of parsley. After that, you are going to be adding a half a pound of your 1 pound ground beef on top. You do want to make sure your ground beef is pretty lean ground beef, just so it's not super greasy in the end. And then on top of the ground beef, go ahead and add half of the cream of mushroom soup and the barbecue sauce mixture. After you're finished adding the second layer of the ingredients on, go ahead and put the lid on top and cook this on low for about 6 to 7 hours. After it was completely cooked, I gave it a really good stir, and then it was time to serve it up. I sprinkled the top of mine with plenty of black pepper, and I sprinkled it with shredded sharp cheddar cheese. This is a really fun, easy dinner to make. I love all the different vegetables in it. Everything was nice and tender and delicious. I hope you found a slow cooker recipe for yourself today, and I have so many more slow cooker videos like this on my channel, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any more in the future. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.